All right, I'm trying to get in a little bit more vintage draft before the end of it, which is tomorrow. Today's the last day, so hopefully I can get a decent one going here. We'll see what happens. Excuse me. All right, well, at least it started up quick. Some interesting options here. Basalt for big mana deck. It's just one more mana for a Grim Monolith. It's one less mana to untap, and Grim is extremely good. Swords of Plowshares, great. Mana Leak, card I really like quite a bit. I'm unsure what I want to do here. I like Garruk, alright. Liliana's okay. Repeal, Elder. Fetchland's always good. Damnation's okay. Smokestack has a place. I'm not sure that place is here. Although it could wheel if I take the Basalt. Might actually be interesting. I like STP, but a lot of the format is about either combo or planeswalkers. It doesn't help Swords to Plowshares STP. It doesn't help with that too often. Maybe good against Reanimator some of the time. So really for me it's Basalt or Mana Leak. And as much as I want the Basalt, I think Mana Leak is better because there's just too much mad, crazy stuff going on in the format, and I want to be able to defend myself against it. So in this case, there's Commit to Memory, Karn, which would have been a lot more enticing if I had taken the Basalt Monolith, because you can go Basalt right into Karn. There's Gideon, which worked very well in the last draft. I like Gideon quite a bit. Seachrome Coast, Baleful Strix, Fire Ice, Commit to Memory. I'm tempted to take the Commit to Memory, honestly, because the more counter effects, the better. Gideon's a heck of a finisher. It just pulls me into white early, and I'm not sure that I want to be there. Although often I do end up that direction. Start. I think it's these three cards here that I'm really torn between. I think between them, I'd probably rather have Gideon, and we'll just see what happens. This is a deck style that I like quite a bit, so maybe it'll work out for me. There's Chrome Mox for a little bit of speed and Unexpectedly Absent, which is just a very solid multifunctional solution. A lot of different problems. If you're White Weenie, you probably want Fiend Hunter over Absent, I suspect. So it's possible the Absent could wheel. Chrome Mox definitely will not wheel. I think I'll just take the Mox. I like speed a lot. Chrome Mox works very well with balance, and I just pulled a balance in this fourth pack, so I think I'll probably end up going that route. I'm looking to put together a pretty solid control deck, maybe. Hopefully. Again, I could take Darkslick Shores for the splash, possible, the potential, I should say. Welder has some utility in that direction. Baneslayer Angel is a very good finisher, just because 5 mana for lifelink is pretty nice. There is Lightning Greaves, which is interesting to me as well. It can be a good card. I kind of like it in a way. I'm tempted between the Baneslayer and the Greaves, really, and Darkslick Shores. Honestly, Greaves and Slayer aren't maybe the greatest things. I'm going to take the Shores and hope I don't regret it. Here's a fairly easy disenchant for me. I think that effect is very important. I could take Colonnade, but as much as I'd like to have it, I think having a disenchant is super important, honestly. Voice of Resurgence quite good. Thing in the Ice is okay. Minotaur's Cut pretty good too. So is Young Pyromancer for that matter, but I'm going to go with the disenchant, especially with the balance that I have. Ooh, man. Alright, Stoneforge or Spell Pierce. So I've noticed equipment tends to be low picks. I mean, you noticed I passed Greaves, but I mean particularly the swords and Jitte and that sort of thing. Spell Pierce is extremely good. Stoneforge can be extremely good. I'd really like to pick it up. I think I will, just because of the fact that early Stoneforge Mystics can win games pretty easily, honestly. And look at that. There's a piece of equipment I get rewarded with. One of the better pieces, Sword of Fire and Ice, Feast and Famine, Jitte, and Batterskull are my favorites. And then Skull Clamp is up there, depending on which deck that you're going to put it in. I'm not doing great on the blue side too well. So at this point, what do I want to do? Duplicant is an option. Selfless Spirit isn't too shabby. The rest of it's mostly mediocre. I suppose Smokestack has some value. I'll take Selfless Spirit and see. Now I kind of wish I had the Smokestack because there's a nice land tax right there. I'll definitely take that. Although I suppose Vindicate or Fatal Push could work. Fire Ice is also good. Like any of these three cards could be good. I have the Darkslick Shores maybe to play them. But I'm a fan of land tax, so we'll go that route. Fiend Hunter that I don't care about. I don't care much about any of these cards, but if I weren't to play white, I would want the Burning of Zinnia, so I'll take it. If I weren't to play blue, rather, or if blue ended up being a splash, I suppose I can take Gifts and see what happens, or I could take Flame Tongue. Those are pretty much my two choices. I suppose Garruk is also reasonable here, but I'll take Gifts. We'll see what happens with that. Second piece of equipment for Stoneforge. I thought about taking them earlier, so we'll just take it now. Murderous Cut goes with the Shores over here, or Resurgence is solid, but I think I'll just take the Murderous Cut and whatever. Alright, so I'm not like pumped about what I've got going here, but it's not bad. Some interesting choices here. Academy has some value. Jace Beleren I like a lot. Volcanics for a splash that I may not even make but could. Wasteland is always good. I don't know, a lot of big cards in here, and then Ravages goes nicely with Artifact Mana and Land Tax. They don't have enough, but it's still pretty good. A lot of times it'll wheel though. I think I'm going to take the Jace, because Jace has a way of winning games. We'll see about the rest. Gifts will sit over here until I figure out for sure if I want to use it. Greaves is in right now, only because I want 2 targets for Mystic to decrease the chances that I draw all my targets, but on the other hand, I'm a little concerned that might not work out. Now here, it's Azcanta, Signet, Mentor. And actually, yeah, that's not as easy as it should be. Azcanta is really, really good. I think I'll take Mentor here, though. Mentor has a way of just completely taking over games. Okay. So I wasn't planning to necessarily splash, but there's a Mind Twist. It's kind of late, and that card's absurd, so I'm going to take the twist. I'd like to see the Mystical Tutor make it around so I can tutor it up. Scrubland would be nice to make it easier to play. Daze is just a good card. Signet's good. Armageddon's good. Not much out of here other than the cards I listed that I would particularly want, but I'm going to take the Mind Twist because it's a crazy card. As far as powerful cards goes now, I'm faced with Jitte, which would easily replace Greaves, or Deluge. Thing is, I think between Jitte and Sword, I probably don't need the Deluge, and if I don't have to add more black cards, I don't necessarily want to. So I think I'll just go with the Jitte and hope that I don't regret it. And Force of Will or Batterskull. So I can finish making Stoneforge awesome with the Batterskull, or I can take Force of Will to try to push through my Mind Twist on the games where that's going to matter, or just protect myself on the other games. It's a really sad situation to have to pick between both of these cards, honestly. I do think counterspells are really important. And I'm probably going to take Force, even though I have so few blue cards to actually Force with. I really want that Batterskull. I feel this is a big bummer, but I've got to take the Force, I think. So Clamp is not really, I mean, Mentor Clamp is pretty great, but sucks that all the equipment's showing up now. The other option I could take Enlightened Tutor, which will allow me to potentially Just it's another way to go get exactly what I'm looking for, but also mocks or attacks early on, which I like. Boundcron's okay. Oath is okay. Nahiri's okay. Steam Vents could be good, but I think I'll take the Enlightened Tutor. Maybe I can get some more powerful things to target with it. I do hear like the Remand pickup, and I'll take that pretty easily. I'm looking for more blue cards if I can get them. Declaration in Stone. There's a card that I think is fairly awful, but it does have some weird possible combo with Mentor. Although if I'm killing my opponent with Mentor tokens, I don't think I want to exile them actually, but there aren't that many great choices here for me, so I'll take it and hope that I don't have to use it, but it could be good for me, so I'll keep it for now. Ravages is a nice pickup, I think. Here I don't see anything super interesting, so I could just take Falls for off-color something maybe. And I think I'd love Xenagos would be great in this deck. If it's a bridge too far. Hey, Armageddon and Scrubland came back. I like the Scrubland for the Mind Twist more than the Armageddon, especially with Ravages already in the deck, so we'll take the Scrub real easy too. Yeah, nothing too exciting here. Awakening Zone is okay. I'll take it. So the reason I'm taking a Zone is because if I did end up getting opposition to go with Mentor and Awakening Zone, that's kind of a thing. The other reason is that Awakening Zone could power a Mind Twist. I have no idea if I'm going to get enough green in the third pack to make that worth playing. And I'm definitely not going to go out of my way to play it. But it could be useful. It almost doesn't matter here, so I'll just take the creature who kind of defends my early game, me against early threats a little bit. Burst Lightning looking pretty weak. Confluence is also very weak, but because it's not splashable, but I'm just going to take it because there is some world where I end up blue, white, black, red, I guess. I don't know what it is, but I guess if I really wanted to do something with that, I suppose that I could. Yeah, I'm not excited about Declaration in Stone. This actually could be playable as a removal card. Where are my broken cards? I don't see any of them. I do see good cards though. So fetch land does not fetch Scrub. It's not as strong. So Banishing Light would be good. I honestly think that the pick here for me though is going to be Signet. I just want to be able to make plays and also do other things while I'm at it, kind of a deal. Signet is good for allowing that. I can also pick up some more fast mana with the Chalice. Maybe the way to go. I do have a twist in here, and I kind of want to ramp out. I also like Jace. First of all, I don't have a lot of blue cards, and Force of Will wants a lot of blue cards. Secondly, gives me a second shot at disenchanting something twice or mind twisting twice. But because I have balance as well, artifact mana is very valuable, so I think I'm going to take the Chalice over the Jace. I would like more of this stuff. Well, there's a Enlightened Tutor target that can definitely win games. There's Sphinxes. Ancestral Vision's alright. Confidant is pretty great, actually, but I don't know. Some of it might come back around. I wouldn't even mind the Bree-Mouse, to be honest. I think I'm going to take the Orb, though, because this gives me two ways to just win a game. And makes, again, so these three cards right here are screaming, run as much artifact mana as you can. And that's good, because I have internal consistency in my deck. So if I want, I guess I can go with the whole opposition orb thing. Another target for Enlightened Tutor that can get me out of tight spots. I'd love to get the artifact mana, but it's not blue or white, which would be a much more compelling pickup. So we'll go with that. So now I've got Gideon opposition. I may not need Ravages at this point because I've got Winter Orb. I've got Gideon opposition, Monastery Mentor opposition, and Elspeth opposition. This looks very familiar to the last deck that I built, but it worked quite well in that one, and I'm perfectly willing to try it again, so I think I'll take this. The problem is that what I had before was I had Grim Monolith, Mana Vault, and a Mox. I don't have that now, so I don't have the explosive power that I had before, and that certainly makes a difference. I did get a Sword of Feast and Famine that I like a lot, so we'll take that. Creatures 2. 2 creatures, and I've got 3 pieces of equipment in opposition is kind of a funky place to be, but why did Winter Orb come out? It was an oops. We got Declaration, Murderous Cut. What else can I pick up here that might be useful? There's Linvala is good. Him is good, but I mean double black is probably not happening here. Academy Ruins is alright. Linvala is good because it shuts off Mana Dorks. Also, I just need something to carry my equipment. I mean, I could take like Rakdos' Return. I could take Inspiring Vantage if there's anything red that I care that much about. I care about Confluence, but not enough to necessarily take that. I think I'll just take the Linvala. Oh, not a very exciting pack for me. Workshop. It's not really a workshop deck. The Vanguard I think is garbage. I'm not sure why. This is vintage. This is just should not be in the pack at all. It should be like Palace Jailer or something. I don't know. I'll take the Oblivion Ring. Not feel too bad about it. Well, I can take a second Oblivion Ring effect. I can take Plateau as well. I haven't seen a fetch land. One that got blue, say red black or blue red, and then I took Plateau would work, but I'll probably just take the second Oblivion Ring effect. Well, I guess I could have thought ahead, maybe played for a Johnny. I didn't really consider that I'd be pulling one. The other things I could take Lyra. I like the card a lot. Also, Port is pretty good with Orb. I'm gonna take Lyra and see if I regret that or not. So here's another way to make tokens, Brimaz, and it did wheel, which is what I had been hoping for, so take that. Oh, there's Parallax Wave. It has some utility. Flicker Wisp. Funny enough, these two cards together work very well. I'll probably just take Parallax Wave and see if I end up using it. Legion's Landing could be something, I guess. The Knight is alright. And this thing. Okay. So I've got some okay things happening. The Knight does let me fetch the Scrubland if I'm behind on mana, which is something. I've got some okay things happening here, but not stellar. Chrome Mox is actually a land. So this right here is 16 lands and attacks, which I think is enough lands. I actually suspect that this deck is built right now. I don't think there's much I need to do about it. Not excited about that Force of Will at all. 1, 2, 3, 4 blue cards. It's probably going to be hard cast or nothing. It's a little sketchy. So Parallax Wave comes in if I'm facing tokens, but probably doesn't come in otherwise. I've got tons of removal though. Parallax Wave also has a funny little interaction with balance where I can wave out all my guys and then balance off most of the, Wrath of God, my opponent, with that effectively. Kind of like Knight of the White Orchid. This deck's going to actually run enough white for this to be a reasonable thing to have in here. And it's another way to carry equipment and catch up if you go second. I probably like it more than I like Linvala. Because I think getting mana is very important. And this also lets me go get black from Mind Twist, so I think I'm going to run that main deck. Unfortunately, I don't have a Tundra to go with it, but I guess you can't have everything. There's also Declaration in Stone, but I have enough of those types of effects with the Oblivion Ring that I don't think this is good. In general, I don't think the card is good at all, honestly. So Lyra and Limvala, some sideboard cards I could bring in, but otherwise, let's see what the recommendations are. So we'll add these and a scrub and Darkslick Shores. I'll take out one Plains. Oop, not Lumbering Falls. Darkslick Shores. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Kind of want one more Plains or island rather. Even though I realize, all right, so 7 blue, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Wait, 1, 8 white, and 2 black.
What are you doing, Daddy?
Hi, son. All right. I think this might actually be the end of the build. This might actually be it. Looks pretty good. Is there some kind of gifts package I don't see a gifts package I can put together. I kind of want gifts just because of the Force of Will, but I really don't see it. So for tokens, I've got Gideon, Elspeth, Gideon, Mentor, Bremaz. I think I've got enough token making. The opposition's going to work out. I don't know. We'll see what happens. I could try the Awakening Zone, but I don't have like a Mox Diamond or something. I don't have enough. I have just a 1 Lumbering Falls. I don't have enough dual support. Like there's no off-color Signet here. I don't really think that that's that great. So I think we're done. We'll try this out. At least I'll sneak in the Bone Shredder after game 1 if I need to. Alright, here we go. Oh, last thing, before I continue, let's print screen this. Edit this. Paste there. Join that match. Fix this up. Oop. Okay. Once I have this situated here, there we go. That way I can refer back to my, there was a deck that I was trying that did not work out at all. I think I'll keep this. I have a little bit of a mana problem here, but with balance I may be able to give my opponent a little bit of a mana problem, especially balance orb. I can get a lot of cards out of my hand fast. Yeah. Yuck. Not that fast though. Still, I can Oblivion Ring that. Question is, I mean, if I O-ring that, then I can't Gideon, right? So, kind of torn on how to handle this. I think I'm just going to leave it be for now. I'd like to, I want to imprint the Mox, but okay, sure, yeah. I'm going to take 3 here. I want to get that. I want to get his Mox off the board. That's really kind of frustrating. It's a bit ugly. Alright. So I really need to draw either a land or a card that I'm willing to imprint, like not an artifact. I guess I hadn't considered that drawback for running the Chrome Mox, but so if he levels it up once and then does whatever else he's going to do, then he can double strike me next turn. Otherwise, I'm all right. However, honestly, like if I'm able to just get a Gideon and start making blockers, I think it's fine. Yep. He's got a lot of cards in hand, which is a little bit of a frustration for me. Yeah. Okay, not an artifact, please. Okay, good. Well, not great, but yeah, good. I may have to just imprint off the Oblivion Ring just to get Gideon down and running. So one option here is so if I Oblivion Ring his Mox Jet, right? He just levels up his guy and hits me for a giant chunk of damage. Or I can forget about that. I think I'm going to forget about that, honestly. I'm not going to stress about it. I'll exile the, I'll get rid of the O-Ring. Start making some guys. Because as I see it, he would need, it's a 3/3, so if he removes the Knight ally and doesn't have enough mana to make this double strike, which is what I'm hoping. I mean, I don't want him to remove the ally at all, but if he doesn't have enough mana to make a double strike, then he hits Gideon down to just 1, at which point I can orb balance or something, or balance equip Jitte. So alright, so this is also quite good. He's attacking me, which is super strange. I'm trying to figure out what this indicates. This is weird. Well, I'm not gonna, I mean, I don't know what's going on here, so maybe he's got a wipe for Gideon. Maybe that was a mistake. Like an O-Ring or something. Oh, he's got Lingering Souls and then flashback Lingering Souls. Excellent. Okay, I made the right call. Okay, so what I want to do is orb, probably. Or I can just balance. We'll go. I won't take any cards out of his hand if I just balance. I think just balance is probably fine now. So he loses a card, it wipes his board. He loses a land, rather, and it wipes his board. I get to plus Gideon up safely. And get some counters on Jitte, which should make it a lot harder for a deck of those colors to do much. I do want to get the orb down, but I got to be cautious against a deck with both Jet in play and a low, low count on. Okay, there we go. So the question is, all right, so let's just make a guy here. Play the sword. Equip. Pass. And I don't know. My opponent's going to have a real tough time here is what this amounts to. I'm not going to be able to activate Gideon, but with a Karakas on tap. But it's bad news bears for my opponent here. And Elspeth is not too far behind. Because he's in the tank. I'm half expecting a concede here. Not to be arrogant, but just knowing, having been on that side of the table and knowing how difficult it is to try to come up with a solution for a board like this. We'll see. Let's review what else I could be drawing. Certainly some good cards. Oh, Revile Arc. That is vile. Okay, so it's when it leaves the battlefield. So this destroy all creatures power 4 or greater. So I could just destroy it. And then he's going to get a wall and a student. Okay, so that's one option. I can attack with the knight, shrink his guy, of course, so that mine doesn't die. I guess I'd have to either attack with the knight and get in, or just produce an additional knight ally, and then play Elspeth and pump out some guys. So I feel like the right answer here is clear his board. He's gonna get wall warfare, but then I get to kill warfare immediately. So what I have to do is I have to shrink my guy, right? So I shrink my guy. Kill everything with 4 or greater. Okay, so he gets to draw a card, yes. But now I get to attack with the knight ally. And he either trumps with the student of warfare, or I kill his wall of omens potentially. Okay. So we take that out. I mean, this isn't great, but it's not horrible. Take that out. And I guess maybe I could have just killed the student of warfare. It would have been safer, because now if he kills the knight ally, then he gets to kill Elspeth. That probably was a mistake. He wasn't able to do it last time, but he very well could this time. And if he did it with something like a Flicker Wisp effect, then he gets to do it for free too. I mean, I still feel like he's a dog to win, but yuck. How many Walls of Omens will we see this game? Alright, well, he's not, at least he's not getting through. So I'm going to have to get the Jitte on the Sword of Fire and Ice creature and try to do something with that. Well, that's good. We'll make our guys. I think I probably want bigger guys, because it makes it really hard for him to attack with Sun Titan at that point. Okay. I also think I need to equip Jitte on this one. Yeah. The other reason to pump my guys there is that now if he wants to trade this Titan off, I get a save it. I get an extra counter that I can use to kill a student of warfare. Yeah, so this is cool. Okay, so we'll dump this. And then we'll go to, I think it's Orb Town now. I'm going to do it this way because, nah, if my opponent plays Wasteland, never mind. It's not a super big deal. Let's go ahead and lock down this game, I think. And now we just keep kicking out guys under an orb, and the opponent just struggles, and I think we're good. I'll save the Jitse counter if he foolishly tries to level up Student Warfare. Orb does a great job of invalidating the extra cards that my opponent drew, of course. That's very nice. Let's just make more guys. Let's make more guys. Yeah, this is just hopeless for my opponent, I think, at this point. I can go Jitse swing. Sword swing. I think Jitse at this point actually has more value. So we'll put it on, I guess, the knight. The fact that I get to double my army every turn is pretty much absurd. The more I play with Gideon, the more I'm impressed by that card. Alright, so after combat, we'll go ahead and get rid of this. Problem for my opponent, besides the fact that getting nasty board presence, is that it's a massive one, so what are you going to really do? Board clear scoop? Yeah. Okay. Well, Linval looks decent. It doesn't look incredibly good. Declaration doesn't look that good. Selfless Spirit could be good. The flying actually might be relevant for my equipment, and maybe that's the reason that the card should be in the main, for all I know. Linval also has that same potential for relevancy. What comes out? Selfless Spirit. It's possible I just don't run the Mind Twist, don't worry about it too much, but it doesn't seem right to me. Card's super powerful, so I can run a Selfless Spirit or Linval. I'm not sure that either of these are tremendously impactful. I honestly think I'm fine the way that it is. I'm going to leave it alone. I'm not going to change anything. I mean, I like Linval and everything gets his level up guy, but if he gets his guy early, it's going to be all leveled up by the time I draw Linval. I'm going to feel pretty bad, like foolish. Well, I actually drew Force of Will on a blue card. Now that's kind of great. Yeah, I can O-ring that, so we're not going to force. So what I could tutor for, Chalice, Mox, Jitse is looking really good if I can get to that point. This is a guy I wish I had Batterskull against. I'm actually not sure that I'm willing to tutor right now. I could go for Signet. I don't think that that's good enough. Maybe my opponent will cast like a 3-mana sword that I can disenchant. That would be probably the best case scenario for me. I don't want to remand here. because I would really like to play Brimoz, and then Force Will is answer to that. Like my opponent throws down a Mox and ends the turn would be okay. So this takes 7 level ups to be a problem. And then it is a problem, but it's not, I guess it's not as big of a problem as... So what I want to do, what I'm hoping to do is Enlightened Tutor for opposition with Brimoz in play, and then just take over that way. Not have to expend an Oblivion Ring on a creature that I could just lock down. But the good thing here is that there's a disenchant. Or there's a disenchant, so question is whether or not I just want to force this. I can save myself some damage by forcing this right now. I think I will. It saves me damage. It requires him to come up with another solution to the problem. And meanwhile, I can flip the tempo of this game by playing land, Oblivion Ring your student, attack, get a creature, Enlightened Tutor for opposition. So I think he's just going to level up here, yeah. And then say done, and then I've got a really good tempo. Hopefully he doesn't have Swords to Plowshares or something. Because then I'm in bad shape there. Another thing I could have done was let him have the Banishing Light and then possibly tried to oh, well, I could do that. That's interesting as well. Still, I like my original concept. I like getting the I really like getting the opposition as soon as possible. I also like the fact that this resets the clock on that guy. Even if he's able to take care of the ring, he's got to invest a lot of mana into it. Oh, he's got ET. Okay, so I assume this means... So finally, the other reason for me to actually do what I did here was I was thinking that I might be able to go get... I might be able to... if my opponent had a solution to Brimoz, then I would be able to go Jitte, equip, smash as a possible, like, since I'm not going to continue to get guys for opposition here. I mean, I can eventually with Disenchant, but in the short term... also, I can save Enlightened Tutor for my other Oblivion Ring if my opponent has like Sun Titan, for example, which is a concern. It's really low on cards. So if I do get opposition, I don't think it's great. Okay, this is nice. I want to get this running as soon as I can. Excellent. Okay. It's just such a powerful effect. Now I have the ability to go get like my second Oblivion Ring, cast Disenchant next turn, and Oblivion Ring if I need to. Alternately, I've got Disenchant, move the Jitte, and hold my Enlightened Tutor kind of a thing, where I might be able to, because I strongly, emphatically prefer with the Enlightened Tutor to be getting either opposition or Winter Orb, not a Vindicate effect, not an Oblivion Ring, but going 1-for-1 like that's not great. Another interesting idea for me actually is Sword of Fire and Ice. I could start refilling my hand off the Enlightened Tutor, but I, I mean, it'll force my opponent to block. Yeah, that's a card I would have very much liked to have got for my deck, but just can't have everything. All right, so this will make him a 5/5. The Jitte will, so it's not too much of a threat. So the question is, do I want to go get Sword of Fire and Ice? And the answer is probably no, because you get way too many chump blocks. Although I can clear out almost all of them pretty much immediately. I still don't think that that's correct. Ooh, much better. So we'll send this in. If he foolishly blocks with multiple creatures, then of course Jitte will kill them all. So I need to pump, because if I remove a counter to kill the blocker, then it will die and I'll have nothing to deal damage to, and I won't get counters on my Jitte. So I've got 3 counters on it, which means I can play this and protect it. Nice. That's really nice, because I get to disenchant and tutor for opposition. Any land that came into play untapped would have been fine there, of course. So given that I'm as close to 100% likely to kill those spirits off as one can assume I could be, I should have killed them immediately. I should not have let my opponent untap and draw, because any trick now punishes the decision to wait. However, it's done now, so the best time to do it would be in the middle of combat, but that was certainly not the best play there. Yep, chase. Me? Interesting. Yeah, I'm more than happy to smoke off the things going after Jace. And I can eat 1, because I'd rather have the utility of Jitte. So yeah, I'll just take 1 here. That's fine. And I can kill that spirit later. That's a card I would have liked. So I am very tempted to go get opposition here. My opponent has no tricks based on the fact that he's pretty much just all right. The way he's passed. So what I can do is play this, right? Attack with this and this. Opposition his blocker with the Vigilant token. Alright, make my guy a 3/3. Let damage happen. Kill his wall. Equip Brimaz. Pass for the turn. Alright, so do we want to opposition anything? I'm going to, you know what, honestly, I'm going to kill this spirit right now. So I don't want to mess with it. I'm going to opposition his Mox Jet, because I don't know why he has one, other than maybe just speed. But if it is like me and he's got a splashable black card, I don't want to see it. If he had like Murderous Cut or something, I'd be very unhappy. 1 extra turn is important. Boy, I wish I had a Hero Blade holding this deck. I do find it very interesting that they made a control deck viable in Cube based around what Brimaz, Hero, and the other guys, like basically a token opposition control deck. This is the second time I've drafted it, and both times I've felt really happy about it. Although this one's not as good as my previous. Artifact or enchantment, that's a real bummer right there. Alright, so what's that going to target? I assume opposition. Oh, Jitte. Strange choice. Okay. That is an odd choice. Alright, so let's tap that. But I guess Jitte just can't be beat for him? I'm not really sure. Alright, so I can opposition the Relic Warder, or we can both draw. I think I'll do that. Because I might find one of my equipment, or I could just draw nothing. Alright, we'll tap that down. I actually should have done it with the Vigilance token before blockers are declared, I suppose. But I mean, it comes into play attacking, so I don't think it matters as far as my damage goes. Should I play a land? I do have land tax in this deck. I don't really need to... I mean, is there any reason to play a land here? I mean, I suppose I could draw Elspeth and something and want to make 2 plays. I guess I will play it. Alright, so we'll opposition down the Jet. Same reasoning as before. I think these things are vigilant is just very cool. Alright, so assume this is the Sun Titan coming down. No. That's a bummer. Okay. By opposition. Honestly, though, I mean, it's a control battle that in which my opponent's getting, you know, he's eating a lot of damage, right? So, boy, I sure wouldn't have liked to have seen a Mind Twist right there. No, I wouldn't have. Actually, that was a great draw. So, create or -7. Yeah, we're not -7ing for a while. Vigilance. That's just so gross. Yeah, I'll get the scrub down because I definitely want my opponent to believe I could have a counter spell. So now if my opponent Day of Judgments, which is possible, we know he's got it, then I just refill. I draw extra card, make more guys. Yeah. So ridiculous. Well, Stoneforge was going to be good. Alright, well, cool. So, do I want to edit the deck? Are there any changes I'd like to make? I like what's happening so far. Maybe I should have brought in Parallax Wave against this guy. I don't really know. Wave is pretty good if my opponents have a lot of targeted creature removal too. Anything I want to change? So I kind of feel like I want a creature that can fight in the air. So I'm not forced to do the ground battles, but I think this is fine. Hopefully everybody had a good 4th of July that celebrates the American Independence Day, or signing of the Declaration of Independence, that is. What the Independence Day being about for us. Our declaration that we were going to start fighting. and what we were going to fight for, basically. It's kind of cool. So hopefully you got a chance to enjoy time with whomever it is that you'd be willing to fight for. All right, we got round 2. Over at my place here, we had a barbecue. I actually barbecued for the first time in my life. Bought a barbecue. I had a buddy of mine over. He'd never barbecued either, so the two of us dads were YouTubing how to barbecue, what time to cook meat, and all that stuff. It was it was kind of awesome, but it worked out, so it's pretty cool. Anyway, yeah, this is interesting. I probably want to just get the mentor down and then the mocks. I would very much like to find a black card, but there won't be one because the only black card in the deck is Mind Twist, so I actually need a source of black. Where are my sources of black? Darkslick Shores, Scrubland, and Knight of the White Orchid to go find. Oh, I guess I should have played Plains first for that exact reason. Alright, well, I will make that mistake again. Okay, so that's 2 draws, a series of draws that are about as bad as I could possibly imagine. This deck's a 15 land deck, and if I were going to draw in an extra land, both blue and white, what would I draw, 2 blue or something? Either way, I would want them to be one of my lands that produce black. So now, yeah, I should have let off with white, because then I could go white and go get my scrubland right here. So this is really bad. I guess getting the mentor down is good, but overall I'm not happy with this. I also have nothing to imprint on the Mind Twist thanks to the lands I drew. Guess my opponent's respecting the fact that I have blue mana. Okay, well, there it is. Awakening Zone away. The card's good. Oh, excellent. Okay. The question is, do I let my opponent have the Awakening Zone for a turn so I can get Mentor down? And then on the next turn I can go something like, well, I can disenchant it and actually have, I think I do wait a turn. It's risky. But I think it's a risk with like disenchanting that, and I'm still behind on mana. But doing this, I'm behind on mana. But I might be able to pull a little bit ahead on board presence. I'm talking about Knight of the White Orchid as though I had it in my hand and realized, wait a minute, that was just a maybe thing. I have 3 sources of black, and he's one of them. I have not actually drawn any of them. So, oh boy, 3, 4, 6, 7. This is bad news over there. I don't know. Maybe my opponent will do something that isn't too nuts. Obviously, if I could have drawn a source of black, I could have Mind Twisted last turn, and then this wouldn't have been a concern. Okay. That's not too nuts. I mean, untap Grim Monolith, I assume? Oh, Trinket Mage. So that's not great. A Mox. It has 1 card in hand now, 2 if they hold the ruby. A little strange. Okay. Jeez. Okay. So I could set up for Force of Will by playing the Chrome Mox and imprinting the Mind Twist. We may be at the point in the game where the Mind Twist is useless, so this is probably the best way to go. I could try to 2-for-1 my opponent by just attacking here, hoping that he blocks, which would be awesomely foolish. But on the other hand, would mean that I had no defense. I think I will actually dump the twist here. This lets me push, and it also means that either A, I get to counter pre-combat, in which case my opponent doesn't have a really good attack because I'll have a monk, or I get to B, disenchant mid-combat and potentially trade if that seems like a reasonable thing to do. So I know my opponent has a Mox and one unknown. With a Force of Will up, whatever that last card is, I at least have a possible answer, sure. Hexproof. And that's all it's got, okay? So I can kill that thing with a disenchant if I want to. Do I want to? Or do I want to kill it? Yeah, I mean, I might. Do I even care? I can just kind of race it. If I disenchant Awakening Zone now, so I get a 2/2 and a 1/1, and I can stick them both in front of that and it dies. I think that's fine. I want to kill the Awakening Zone because it's, if he's got opposition, it's a problem. And the other reason it's a problem is just that I've got a Mentor out, and I want to be able to pressure my opponent, try to end this game. So yep. So opponent has a lot of mana, but I just don't have the read that he's got a card that he can do anything with it. And now he's got one less mana, which means that maybe the mana leak will be useful. He's going to get to untap his Grim, but he missed the play. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 9, 10. Tons of mana over there. So I think that the mana leak will end up being Force of Will fodder if I need to tap out, like if I draw Elspeth or something. Although even then, I guess I've got enough mana to do it. So probably not even then. Wow, that's terrible. Maybe if my opponent saves up and makes 2 plays in a single turn, and I have a chance there. Him not untapping Grim over and over is pretty great. My 15 land deck should draw an actual spell before my opponent, in theory. Just tap out. That's what I'd like to see. Sure. Alright, that's kind of neat. This is a case where I might be... Yeah, I might be tapping out. Okay. So I could bring away the Chalice and 1, 2... take my opponent down to less mana. Certainly not a lot less. I might actually ring the Trinket Mage, which is kind of a terrible idea, honestly. Whatever. The thing is, if I play the Oblivion Ring, I have 2 monks to stop the Trinket Mage, so that's probably not wise. I think I'll just, if there's any chance that my mana leak's going to be good, this is that chance. So all right, cool. So that's, I was able to entice him into killing even more mana. So now he does have a lot, but 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So if he plays, well, yeah, kind of an interesting one. I could Force of Will this. In which case he just can't do anything at all, and I get to draw extra cards. I think I will actually. It's tempo. He did it pre-combat too, so he can't even get through to my Jace. I'm trying to put this game away because I'm not going to get control of the game, but I might be able to win it anyway. Before it matters. So I can make these all pretty big. So 4, 7, 10, 13 points of damage is an option. So if I do this, he might actually trade for the mentor, both of his guys, which is probably okay. Still, the mentor's a problem that just keeps getting out of hand, and I don't know, maybe I don't want to make that trade. No, this is fine. Because if he does that, he drops to 9, and then even if he blocks the Night Ally, I can do 2, 4, 6, 7, 8, and all I have to do is cast a spell and I kill him. So, and I've got two chances to draw non-land. I don't have a lot of lands left in the deck. There's a Jace there. 2 chances, assuming Jace lives, which is probably a safe bet. Okay. Yeah, so because this way, if he gets a blocker, I get to get in 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 points of damage, right? But any spell will pump the monks up, and then that means my opponent's dead, and I can make Gideon a 5/5, which means opponent can't do anything with that either. So he might potentially draw a Time Twister or something. So I'm going to go ahead and play the land here, because if that's his out, if it's like Twister into whatever, I want to be able to hard cast Force of Will. Okay. 1, 2, 3. What do you got? Okay, good. And Vol is looking decent again. This big mana decks. I have multiple disenchant effects though, so I don't know. Mind Twist, unable to use at that time. If it's a deck that dumps its hand, maybe Mind Twist is not a card I care about. Maybe Linvala is, and I should be thinking like that. So I think, as much as I'd really like to keep Mind Twist in here, I think I can safely cut it. In which case this is better off as a plains, and this is better off as an island. And I'll be right back. Sorry for the pause there. Looks like it took about a minute and a half. I think we're good on these changes. Ravages of War might actually be better against this opponent than it would be against some others, potentially. But I think we'll leave it alone. Winter Orb, of course, does a pretty good job as well. So we'll see what happens. Excuse me. This is a hand I very strongly am opposed to mulliganing, except if I don't draw a white, I lose. If I draw a white, this is a hand that's kind of a winner. All the land I could ever want. I don't know, maybe it's not. I think I'm going to have to mulligan regardless and hope that this will get it done. Man, there are a lot of targets for this card, but I need mana. Should have been a lot better going first. How many times has that been said in Magic? Probably nobody's ever thought of that before. So I could Enlighten Tutor for either Chrome Mox, or I can Tutor for a land tax and hope that that's good enough to get me there. And if I go get Chrome Mox, what do I imprint? You know, do you imprint Gideon? Like, it'd have to be Mana Leak or something. I think I'm going to go get land tax, and then I'm going to hope that that works. Because if it works out, then this is great, right? I get to pretty much get a Signet down, a Stoneforge, and a Mana Leak, Jace to refill, Gideon, pressure. Like, this hand is everything we want. But if this does not work, then I just lose, I think. But yeah, if this works out, then I'm going to be drawing cards and cards and cards. So, oh baby. Best thing is my opponent actually didn't have a play that turn. So I'm going to get an Island Plains done. And I'm not going to, I'm not going to lower my defenses against somebody who's coming up on 4 mana. Especially because next turn I can play Signet and then have a counter up, followed by Threat with a counter up. Like, if I don't leak that, right, I'm not going to get to leak other things. So I'm going to have to do it. Alright, so I want at least a Plains and an Island. 8, 9, 8, 7. Yeah, that's good. Okay. Playing Signet. We're getting there, but we're getting there. The land tax risk paid off all right so far. The nice thing too is it's thinning out the deck. So constant supply of lands and deck thinning. That's, oh, that is lovely. That's what I want to see. Beat me down with the Lumbering Falls. Please, sir, may I have another? Okay, so this is great. Because it means I get to make a play and make a play. Do I even want a land? So I'm going to play... I don't think I want a land here. Okay. So one thing I could do to entice my opponent to waste his turn is play Jace and then draw a card. Then follow it up with like Gideon and have a Remand up and then opposition. Right. So another route is of course the Stoneforge route. And I kind of like the Stone. I think I'm going to go the Stoneforge route because what I want to do is I want to go get sort of Feast and Famine, and then I can make plays that don't require me to tap out. Yeah. Awesome. Awesome. Big mana deck didn't draw his mana. And I don't suffer from that issue here. So yeah, so now then I can go land, tap 3, drop the sword, equip, smash, take a card, untap all of my mana, cast Sword of Fire and Ice, most likely pass with a remand up, followed by making the 4 mana plays, and I think we're set. So excellent. Oops. It'd help if I could click the correct button. Okay, there we go. I'm the worst at that. All right. So these have been going fairly smoothly. I like that. Do I want to change? What was the card I boarded out? I boarded in the Angel and I took out... Oh, the Mind Twist. I don't think I want to make that change. Like against an unknown opponent, I don't want to make that. I want to leave the Mind Twist in, just because it has more upside potential. I should actually put, it's too late. What I should do is put a swamp in there that I can tax into. Sure. I might be able to force cards into my opponent's hand with the orb, keep them suppressed a little bit, and then twist away. Yeah, I feel really bad, actually. Foolish, I would say, for not having a basic swamp in here. 3 sources of black would be a lot better than 2. Okay, so I really kind of need to draw a blue card here. I'm in big trouble now. It's not what I wanted to see. Opponent can probably just win here. Well, maybe not. Okay. X's 1 ballista is alright. Blue card. Oh, disenchant. Opponent missed a land drop, so I feel a little silly about this, but I don't know what it is with my opponents all having Mox Ruby. I think the last guy had Mox Ruby, right? Oof. Now what is up with my terrible draw? Oh, it's non-artifact spells. Oops. I cannot force without a blue card. I could do very little here. Honestly, I probably lost the game with that disenchant, but we'll see. All right, we'll see. Question is, do I get ahead by... Yeah, I do get ahead by blocking, because I can block, make a guy equip sword. Or turn him into a guy. Equip sword, smash, opponent probably chumps. Huh. So I don't think this guy has an answer necessarily, because he wouldn't have played a tap breeding pool. This at least requires him to have... I don't know, it's not great. I would like to have sat on the Force of Will. Signet. That's rough. Okay. Now we have good things happening. On my side, does my opponent chump block here? So if my opponent doesn't chump block here, then I really want to play the Chalice before combat. If he does chump block here, then that's awful. I think I do want to play it though, because, I mean, if he does, okay, there we go. So now what I can do, I can move the sword over, and I can still force with 1 mana up in case my opponent has a force spike effect. I would very much have liked to have gotten Winter Orb down at this point with an active Sword of Feast and Famine running, but it's fine. Yeah, beautiful. Very nice. Well, I appreciate you showing me your hand, bud. Johnny, Dak. Oh, Dak, yeah. Day of Judgment, Tasigur. Interesting. Alright, well, good to know. Johnny, Dak, Faden, Day of Judgment, Tasigur. So opponent's going to be vulnerable to color screw. I guess disenchanting his Mox was what he was trying to tell me. Hey, look, you killed the Mox and that won the game. Makes sense. Yeah, I need a swamp in here, first of all. And one less blue or white. I probably can take out a island. I have few cards that. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. No, I want to take out. Yeah, because this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 islands, 7 plains, 3 swamps. 7, 7, and 3 split, which is a very good split for a 3-color deck. Opponent looks like he's going to be vulnerable to Ravages to some degree. He has Dak Faden, which is a problem for me. The Johnny I don't care about. Tasigur, yes, that's an issue, but not much. That's solvable. I think all I want to do is just get myself the extra swamp and hope that I can Mind Twist his mix of stuff out of his hand. Another mulligan. That's a little disappointing. Okay. That's a little more keepable. We'll go on top with it because, like, what I want is I want to imprint something, and I might actually force the Mox. So if I force the Mox, I think I like that. Sort of ends his turn, right? And then if I get a white card, I can deal with whatever his follow-up play might be, possibly. Okay. White card. That could do it. Alright, so hopefully nothing too crazy happens here, like Dack Fayden, or something scary. Is there anything scarier than Dack Fayden? I'm not sure that there is. Okay, Tezzeret, sure. Does he hit? No. Okay. Lanes is all right there. So I'm kind of a little torn. I kind of want to orb, and I really want to nail the Tezzeret down, but it's possible that the Tezzeret won't. It's possible that I need to orb here and then Tezzeret later. It's worth a risk, I suppose. I don't know how many artifacts the guy runs, but I think this is right. Like, whatever my opponent's plays are, it's more scary than, like, his ability to deploy his hand is scarier when he's got that many cards than something like hitting a Grim Monolith would be. So, assume he's going to play the Monolith, yeah, okay. And then what? Okay, Ballista on 2. It's not too bad. So I can ET for opposition, attacks. It's very nice. Or I can imprint the Enlightened Tutor since it's card disadvantage. Kill the Tezzeret with it and then hope that the rest of my deck does what it needs to do. And I think that's fine. Alright, so I've got an okay board position here. I'm certainly winning the Winter Orb battle at the moment, but I need, to get things going here. I'm going to need some top decks, so that's definitely a top deck. He can use both of his counters to shoot this thing, of course, but I can make it really tough for him. So Feast and Famine, Jitte, Fire and Ice. What's best? Feast and Famine is best under the orb, but I have an empty hand and Fire and Ice is a lot stronger. I'm going to do this. So, yeah. There we go. Ballista down. Excellent. So now any way that I have to get creatures into play is going to be very rewarding for me, potentially. With this I can cast anything. Oh, that's nice. That's very nice. Let's get some cards going. Tezzeret is not good at all. Tezzeret number 2. Okay, well, but what are you gonna do? Swamp. Good night, son. No, I love you, buddy. Okay, nice top deck. Okay, let's get that down. That does give me a way to pressure Tezzeret a good bit and just generally work quite nicely with my sword. Keep thinning out my my misses as far as action goes by fetching more and more lands. Gotta love Winter Orb. Balance used to be my favorite card of all time, but I think Winter Orb has actually become my favorite card in the game. Although I haven't been allowed to play with Balance in so long, it's hard to say. And at this point, it wouldn't even be useful for me. But Winter Orb, man, that is a heck of a Magic card. So interestingly tough spot for my opponent here. I can activate Gideon and smash him while going Sword on the Knight and smash. Gideon kills Tezzeret, Sword on the Knight attacks my opponent. It would actually take Tezzeret to 1 if he pluses it, but then the sword would proc and I could finish him off. So he could activate Tezzeret's ultimate here, yeah, and try to get Gideon off the board. But then the problem with this play, of course, is that so he has to send both. Well, the one, but yes, he's got Summoning Sickness. So it just doesn't quite work out for him. That's a little unfortunate. Yeah, good try though. Good try. Almost worked for you. Not quite. But I see what he was thinking there. So cool. This is very fair deck. I wonder what my next card would be. Oh, yeah. Well, I would have drawn, what, 2? Yeah, just crushing. So this very fair deck, apparently fair, but I managed to force a will, a very unfair card, my opponent's Mox Ruby, and that was enough to allow me to win the game thanks to Winter Orb, which is very cool. It's exactly what you want from Winter Orb deck. And the neat thing was that I had, because of the tax, I was able to go fetch that black. So if I ever found a Mind Twist, I could have prevented my opponent from recovering at any point in that game, in theory. I also could have picked up an opposition and just locked them forever under the orb. So I'm starting to really like this Winter Orb opposition combo. And hopefully you enjoyed seeing that as well. It's pretty fun to play. So unfortunately, I don't know why they don't just do cube as a permanent thing. It's clearly popular. Look at the number of trophies that the leaders have and consider how many games they had to play to get those. That is a lot of Magic being played. So they ought to just make a real prize structure and do like a big league with lots of good prizes and stuff. I mean, spending 100 tickets to win 150 doesn't feel super good. It's literally just for the fun of it at that point, because the cost in time is not there. But it did allow me to get up to what, I had 1,000 play points in one whole event ticket. So there's that. Maybe I can leverage those. If they ever make the Commander format good again, I could do something like that. But anyway, until then, thanks very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed yourself. And it is the last day of Vintage League, so you should be expecting actual Commander games soon. I'll see you next time.